Traditionally, in work settings, high-performance settings, we've had this view. If we could motivate people, if we learn to motivate people, then they'd work hard. They work hard, they'd be successful, and then once they're successful, then they'll be happy. There's some really interesting research out there now that is suggesting that we have this relationship primarily backwards. That it's actually when we're happy that we're most likely to be engaged in what we're doing. That when we're happy, that this is when we're most likely to persist through difficult challenges. That when we're happy, this is when we're best able to deal with difficult, afflictive emotions. It's also when we're best able to develop real reciprocal relationships between coworkers, where I help you, you help me, and we both raise each other towards the goals of the organization. This is obviously best when we're most creative, when we come in with those innovations. It's also when we're the healthiest. That we know that the happiest employees take 15 less sick days a year than the least happy employees. And this is also when we retain talent the most. That happy employees stay with companies much longer.
Performance had taken on a new meaning to me. And I didn't know what was happening. I was filled with fear, a lot of anxiety, I think pretty standard. I'm not sure if any of you have spent any amount of time in the hospital before, but it's not a wonderful time, particularly when you don't know what the outcome is going to be like. So there was a lot of dark days in the hospital. It's incredible. Sometimes we take for granted the words that we use. But those words, whether the words that we use for ourselves or they're the words that we use to communicate to other people, they have far more power than I think that we recognize sometimes. So that night, right after this talk, I felt night and day different from how I had felt when the morning nurse had given me the sentence that she gave me. So I hit the internet, right? And I started looking for all the different ways that I could elevate my mood and my spirit, because I needed to feel like this as much as I could if I was going to learn how to walk again quickly. And something I haven't told you yet is that my wife at the time was 7.5 months pregnant. And sorry, it still gets me a little choked up, but one of my biggest fears was that I wouldn't be able to come into the hospital with her to have the baby. But so I wanted to get back on my feet as fast as I could. And I hit the internet and I found something called a gratitude journal. Everything said gratitude journal, gratitude journal, gratitude journal. So what did I do? I got a journal and I started to write a gratitude journal. And even though there was tons of things going wrong, tons of fear, I found ways to find even the littlest thing. So when my meal came in, if it wasn't a very good meal, it was a meal. And I couldn't get out of the bed and I was stuck in the bed sheets, but the nurses would come and change the bed sheets for me every day to make sure I had fresh linens. My family had flown in from Canada. They were there to visit me. And even though my son, we couldn't run around and play, he would climb up in the bed and we'd have a snuggle and read a story still in the bed. So everything I could find that was positive, I wrote it down. Every little thing.